Okay, hello YouTube, hello TikTok, hello Facebook, we are back again, and thank you and hello again to my YouTube channel, Facebook, and TikTok, Instagram Reels. Welcome ulit mga pre, kamusta kayo? Nabi tayong napanood kanina kay kay Sir Crips. Sino pa ba? Multo ng babae. Multo sa Pilipinas. Hanap nga tayo. Sawa na sa mga ibang bansa. Wala naman na maganda pa. Si Bosarino. Exploration. Haunted Exploration Philippines. Kabisado ko na Diplomat Hotel eh. Dahil dito sa mga exploration na pinapanood natin eh. Oh. Yung babae, diplomat. Miss Script. To baby cryo. Amerikana. To. Sige nga, tingnan ko nga to.
For tuning into Amy's Crypt. Today I am taking you to the most haunted place in the Philippines, known as the Old Diplomat Hotel. I'm going to be covering its gruesome history, ghost stories, and we're also going to be sticking around for a nighttime paranormal investigation. But before we get to it, I just wanted to let you all know that this is a very special video filmed in collaboration with a good friend of mine and fellow YouTuber, Sir Spooks. Sir Spooks makes the spookiest and scariest videos on the internet. I adore them and I know that you guys will too. I'm linking his channel below, so go check it out when you're done here with this video. I also just want to let you guys know that this video is made possible by Pine City Fright Tours, who operate out of Baguio in the Philippines. So if you guys are ever in town and want to have haunted adventures of your own, check them out. I'm linking their Facebook below.
Sino to vlogger to? Pangalan nito? Amy Creep. Amy Creep. Sige nga, panoorin ko to.
Jump straight in to the Old Diplomat Hotel.
Ang Diplomat Hotel. Paborito ko talaga ang Diplomat eh. Kahit ilang beses ko panoorin ang Diplomat, creepy talaga eh. Oh. Kahit paulit. Feeling kami nakatayo agad dun oh. Dito oh. Ito Diplomat, kahit paulit-ulit ko napapanood, kahit sinong vlogger ang panoorin ko sa Diplomat, creepy talaga eh. Oh. Partida, umaga pa yan.
Alright guys, so I'm currently in the...
Ayun, this year, babalik ako dyan sa Diplomat. Papasok ako dyan, magmumukbang tayo. Hindi pwedeng hindi magmukbang sa Diplomat this year.
The Old Diplomat Hotel. This place is thought to be one of the most haunted places in the Philippines. It was actually built back...
You know, dito yung may nakunan ako, diba? Yung pinapakita ko dati. Yung may nakunan ako.
In 1913 through to 1915.
O doon sa kabilang bintana yun.
Ay,
dito nga yun, yun nga yun.
Hill Retreat House. And that was for a lot of local friars and nuns to be able to come here from the city of Pine here in the Philippines. As World War II sort of
Pili ko may nakatayo agad dun, oh.
came about, this place experienced a lot of dark events. It was actually taken over by the Japanese, who made it look as though it was a place for refugees trying to escape them, and they literally drew people here to torture and murder them. So there was a lot of really terrible crimes that were committed by this special Japanese police force that occupied this building, and that includes rape, violation, torture, murder, massacre. It's even said that a lot of nuns and priests
Kaya nga eh, yan yung history niyan eh.
that refused to leave this
Mga pare.
place during that time were also executed.
To parang may nakatayo rito.
Yeah. So also during the war, as the Philippines were being
Kahit wala ako nakikita sa Diplomat, may naibiyon din ako eh.
liberated, This place was even bombed and it did sustain some damage, and it's said that the Japanese people who were currently occupying the space and didn't want to surrender or be captured committed suicide here within the old Diplomat Hotel. After the war, this place was actually left abandoned until it was taken over by a man in the 1970s who actually had it converted into a hotel with about 30
Ayan si Anthony Adpawa, yung may-ari ng Diplomat Hotel.
odd rooms, and he used it as a
Yung page
place
healer. Kita nyo, kabisado ko na yung Diplomat eh.
to draw people with terminal illness, claimed to be a psychic healer, and set about healing them. Though a lot of his techniques
Yun o.
didn't really work, and
Parang may nakatayo talaga dito. Dito yung nakunan ko eh. Dito yun eh. Ito yung mismong bintana. Palatandaan ko, itong painting na to eh. Ito yung mismo, dito yung nakasilip, di ba? Yung nakasilip na nakunan ko dati.
he was a little bit of a con artist. He actually managed to gain quite a following from them, and even gained a cult-like
Ayan o.
status. The
Ito yung chapel.
hotel was actually abandoned again in the 80s when this man died of a heart attack within the hotel, and it's been left abandoned basically since then, and has since accumulated many ghost stories, and there's supposed to be paranormal activity to happen here all of the time. It's certainly one of the most allegedly haunted and notorious places in the entire Philippines. A lot of the paranormal activity
Oh, number 1. Kung sa Pilipinas, yun yung number 1 siguro. Diplomat.
said to occur here includes the sightings of apparitions. Some of these
Yun o. Wait lang.
died of a
Ulitin
heart
ko,
attack within the hotel, and it's been left abandoned basically since then, and has since accumulated
Tingnan nyo ha. Papakita niya, di ba?
many ghost stories, and there's supposed to be paranormal activity to happen here all of the time. It's certainly one of the most allegedly haunted and notorious places in the entire Philippines. A lot of the paranormal activities
Ayan o, di ba? Ginagalaw niya yung camera niya.
said to occur here includes the sightings of apparitions.
Yun o! O turista to. Turista to o ano? Kayo nga umusga. Turista to o dooms.
Some of the
Ay, turista pala. Alaga na, pagka walang bang outlooms. Mukha kasing multo yung ano eh, apparition niya dun eh.
out ahead. Very common are priests and nuns to be seen as well. There's also a lot of disembodied voices. A lot of these are usually in pain, so crying or screaming. There's even been the voices of children heard here as well, which is particularly disturbing. I am going to be coming back here at night to do some paranormal investigations, so make sure you guys are subscribed and stay tuned. Also need to apologize for the sound. This by day is a tourist attraction, so there are a lot of people coming through here making a lot of noise. Alright guys, I am currently inside the old Diplomat Hotel, and I am joined by Anton, who runs ghost tours here all throughout Baguio. They're called Pine City Fright Tours, and they're excellent. He covers all of the best haunted locations here, especially the old Diplomat Hotel. So he's been coming here for years, and he's very well versed in this place's history as well as its ghost stories. So Anton, I really just want to ask you a bit about the ghost stories or the supposed hauntings of this building. Like, who are our resident ghosts here?
Well, there are a number of different sightings here in the building. The most famous one would be the supposed headless priest, or they basically call him the
Yung fountain o.
Black Priest. It's
Creepy to. Nire-renovate yung creeping fountain.
a very dark, shadowy figure, phantasm that has been seen
Ito yung fountain talaga oh.
actually on the third floor.
Ito yung gusto kong puntahan dyan, yung fountain. Kaya hindi ako manahimik na gusto kong pasukin talaga yung Diplomat. Yung fountain. Diyan ko set up yung ilaw dito. Dito ako. Gagaya ko si Bosolino nga. Dito ako magbumukbang. Dito yung camera ko. Pwede yan. Oo. Gagaya ko si Bosolino. Ilaw dito, camera doon. Yung isa ko cellphone, tapos yung cellphone ko na pang ghost tube dito.
He's also been seen roaming on the second floor as well. People claim to have actually
Gusto ko lang gayahin si Bosolino eh. Dito.
captured pictures or photographs or videos of him roaming the place. And then also there are different, you have
Yan
also
na.
the priest The ghosts of the priests were also seen on the first floor, and then of course we have a number of nuns who are also seen on the first floor as well. And of course there are different multiple other sightings, or what they hear like sounds of what seems to be like people crying, or the sounds of children, or the sounds of some Japanese soldier just talking to themselves in one of the rooms. It's basically pretty common actually here in Baguio for those things to happen, especially here in the Diplomat Hotel.
So you run a lot of ghost tours and you bring people through at night.
Yes, primarily yes. We start like in the afternoon, roughly between 4 all the way up to like 7:30 up to 8 p.m.
And these reports come from a lot of
people who have been here before, like tourists, or primarily most of the people who come here are actually just like ghost hunters, and there are cases of like famous or known groups that have actually come here before, like paranormal investigators.
Ayun nga, sila Zarcaro, sila Bosorino, sila Adventure Ducks.
From other countries, they also claim to have captured evidence of these kind of activities.
So you were telling me a really crazy ghost story that occurred at the front of the hotel while you were talking to a group of people. Can you just
Sure. Well, there's actually an interesting story. I was actually conducting a tour. This was about 2018, early 2018. I was with a group of people. We were roughly between 25 to 30 people, and we were all outside. And I was basically concluding the tour, and I was saying my goodbyes, and I was explaining, everything's just part of the show. And then out of the sudden, without any warning whatsoever, my guests started looking up, and they were basically surprised. They were like shouting, they were like pointing up there, and they were like, and they tried to indicate that they were seeing something up there on the second floor in one of the windows. And then I'm continuing talking because I didn't want to be interrupted also, and I didn't get to
Ayan, yung gabi na.
see it, but everyone started taking pictures. So finally, I turned around and I missed it by a second or two, and I saw something that looked like a figure on the second floor in one of the windows, looking down at us, and then it disappeared. It took a step back and then it completely vanished. Now I knew for a fact everything was locked. I made sure the second floor no one could go up there anymore. And then, and I looked at the pictures that everybody captured, but they got 2 shots. The first one being a figure of a man standing near the window, looking down at everyone, at us. And then the second shot, what it did was it actually waved. Like it raised its hand and said, "Here I am." And it was interesting, and I saw it and I was blessed.
Wala pa ba silang yung exploration? Ayun pa lang yung faith healer. Sige, mamaya, ko na kompleto, hihin ko na to.
Surprised. I was like, okay, I didn't expect that. And that's, and they seemed I concluded maybe the ghost was friendly, or he was trying to acknowledge that it's there. And then these kind of things do happen most times or occasionally on a tour. There will be multiple, sometimes someone will actually see something, or something will actually like touch someone, or it would physically interact with the guest.
Yeah, that one I think is amazing. It just is really compelling because it was multiple people that saw it. It was caught on camera, and you know that the building was locked.
Not just one camera, everybody's camera.
Yeah, that's so crazy. Do you feel like there are negative entities or spirits here? You were telling us a story earlier about the guy who died in the back room from the heart attack.
There are the thing about the Diplomat Hotel is that there's a lot of things that go bump in the night in this place. There are a lot of those, definitely yes. Most of them are relatively friendly, some are neutral, and the other ones are generally, occasionally, if you do something to get them angry, then they'll probably do something to you physically. It does happen. Like there was, like I was mentioning the history about the house, about the building, and I was mentioning a guy named Tony Agpawa, the guy.
Ayan, si Tony Agpawa nga yung may-ari niyan dati.
Who actually ran the place from the 80s, from the 70s to the 80s, and then he died in one of the rooms, in a room that he kept to himself. And what happened was Mr. Agpawa basically, on the night of his death, according to the story, that he had a heart attack and that he was being attacked by some unseen negative force. Something reached to his chest and basically crushed his heart. And none of his workers could actually get to him, because what happened was, once he tried to go through the door, there was something behind the door pushing back, and so they took around maybe like 10 guys before they could even just nudge the door just a little bit. And they saw that he was on the floor and basically convulsing, and he was like, having a heart attack. Finally, after he stopped moving and he died, the door swings open and all these, they fall inside, they get to him, they try to resuscitate him, but it's too late. And then he was basically pronounced dead. Days later on, while they were doing the autopsy,
Ay, nag-autopsy.
the person who was doing the autopsy basically cut him open, removing all his organs to prepare for the funeral. And then what happened was he noticed something peculiar about everything was normal, everything else except for his heart, which looked like someone physically held it at the time of his death and physically what seemed to be like crushed it, like squeezed it. And that could have been what
Natake daw sa puso si Agpawa, no?
killed him.
Yeah,
You have to assume.
that's quite a disturbing
Yeah,
story.
basically.
It's like-
I think personally he might have had it coming because he was not exactly the nicest of sorts. And
Yeah.
he did take advantage of a lot of people.
Yeah. Are his victims thought to still remain here, or is it mostly ghosts that were treated bad and killed here during
No.
the war?
Well, it's a mix. You have to understand that even before then, even before the 70s and the 80s, the place was actually occupied by the Japanese during World War II from 1942 all the way to 1945. It was actually one of the Japanese's main garrisons. The people who occupied this place, they were known as the Camp Bayfire, Japanese secret police. They were actually in charge of this place back then. And then what they did was to lure refugees, they opened it up as a refugee center so that they can trick
Grabe mga Hapon, ano?
people into coming here, and then they would get them and they would basically torture them. And some of them were locked in the actually the basement, or sort of like the aqueduct, or basically the catacombs, which is underneath this entire structure. And what happened was these people were tortured and most of them died. Even some of the priests and the nuns were captured as well, and they also died
Kawawa yung mga tinotorture nila. Yun talaga.
in the structure. And then by the end of the war, this is one of the last places that the Americans attacked because it was heavily guarded by the Japanese. This is where most of the main forces retreated. So what happened was you have a lot of Japanese soldiers who were here and they fought back with the Americans who fought with them. So it was basically like a battleground.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of dead Americans and a lot of
Yeah.
roaming this place.
So spirits could be.
Yeah,
from
definitely. Any one of those times.
Yeah, that's crazy. This place has so much history behind it as well, and so much dark history too. And I know that there is a lot.
Talagang dark history talaga yung Diplomat kasi halos lahat ng pinatay dyan, yo.
Ghostly claims and
Yes.
someone who spent so much time here, do you feel that there's any hotspots or particularly places
yes,
that would
there are.
target in an investigation?
Well, there are. Like, for example, the room in which Mr. Agpawa died in or passed
Okay.
in. That's a popular hotspot. A lot of people like to go there and
Ah, dyan yung kwarto ni Agpawa.
try to conduct an investigation, see if they can actually get something. There's also downstairs in the fountain area. That's also another known hotspot because that's where supposedly the Japanese drowned babies or children in the fountain area. That's also where you can find a lot of the priests or the nuns, especially they're seen roaming on the first floor. So it's basically just pick a spot anywhere, you're probably gonna get something.
And you also mentioned there's a wall.
Yeah, there was on the property.
So just out the back, and
Yeah.
there has been a bit of activity there.
Yeah, supposedly they see the ghost of one of the nuns near the morgue, or it could be a nun, or it could be mistaken for something else, or maybe it's one of the victims of Mr. Agpawa roaming that area.
Yeah.
Because that was burned during the fire back in the 80s. The building was actually set ablaze, as you notice why it looks like this.
Dyan rin pala nasunog.
13-inch fire. It took place in the morgue and then it spread over to the building.
This place is supposed to be one of the most haunted in the Philippines.
Yeah. It's ranked as one of the most haunted places in the Philippines, and in Asia as well.
Yeah, it's very notorious and well known. I've had
Yes.
a lot of my subscribers, my viewers recommend that I come here because there's so many stories to go with it. But I just want to thank you so much for talking with me.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. So Pine City Fright Tours there.
Ayan, gana na siya mag-explore.
Amazing ghost tours in Baguio. You guys should check out Anton's tours. I'm going to link them below for you all. Alright guys, so I'm finally going to take you into the old Diplomat Hotel, which we are standing out front of. And what is very cool is you guys would have just seen Anton before.
Ayan si Anton kanina yung kalbo.
But this far left one, right? Anton is the window that everyone saw the apparition in at the end of his tour. Anton also told me earlier that it's quite common for people to pick up in photos and be a little bit scared because they're out the front here and they pick something up that looks like someone who's been hanged from the front of the building. And supposedly priests were hanged from the front. So, I mean, that's disturbing. And we haven't even made it inside the hotel. So, let's head in. And we also have the
Ayan, anong gagawin nila dyan?
original cross at the top. I should just point that out. That might be my favorite thing, actually, the cross.
Back when the hotel was operational, this is where actually they would receive guests, this part
Yeah.
here. And then of course there was like a lounge in this area here. You can see there's like an old fireplace.
Yeah.
And you notice there's two fountain areas. Actually most people just assume there's only one.
Yeah, I just realized there's two fountains.
Yeah.
So the fountain here on my left has a bamboo art installation structure over it. So I'm not going to take you into that one to look at.
Ginawa tambakan pa dyan noon.
Let's head into this one here. So this is one of the two fountains here, and people have been using it as a wishing well. You can see the money and a sign in there. But one of the scariest and darkest places in the hotel actually are these fountains. So Anton was telling me earlier that this was actually a place where Japanese military, when they occupied, would
Para may nakatayo dito habang nag-aaral siya dito.
use the water in these fountains to drown people. They also drown babies here. I mean, that's very, very sad and disturbing. And sorry, there's like super amount of tourists in here, so you can probably hear them. This was a place that people were tortured and died.
Every so often, this is like I mentioned earlier that before, like you can actually see some of the ghosts of the nuns. They actually are seen roaming the halls.
Oo, yung mga madre.
This portion over here.
Yeah.
We actually have a photograph. I had one guest of mine. He came back here during the day, and he was standing over here. He took a selfie, and then he actually got what looked like
Sino yun yung sa Jessica Soho?
nuns standing over there in one of this areas over here, and he said it to me right away. So take a look at this. I caught this, and this is during the day.
Yeah.
Took me by surprise as well. So
It's
yeah,
a clear
it's a clear visible nun.
So nuns and the priests are amongst the most common apparitions,
Yes,
right?
mostly yes.
Yeah. Alright guys, now we're going to take you up to the second floor. There's a lot of other interesting places up there and a lot of rooms that were used during the
Ayan na.
time that this place was a hotel. So we'll be able to see inside some of those too.
Ano yan, nakakit siya?
Alright, so I'm just going to take you into this room here behind me. This is kind of just an example of one of the rooms that would have been used as a hotel room here. And then you can see the bathroom with the funky tiles.
Eh kasi nga, yan pa rin yung dati. Yeah.
So, it actually smells a bit in here, but
Kung ano yung dati, yan din yun ngayon.
you can kind of get the feeling for the setup of a basic room. So if we look down here as well, we can see one of the water fountains from the second floor. And it's actually a really cool site. Definitely, probably the most photographed things here. We have another very interesting room at the back end here. So I'm gonna have a look. Okay guys, so this is one of the
Ayan, dyan yung nagmukbang siya na si Balbaliw.
larger bedrooms, also the only one with a fireplace, and this was the place where our fake healer, the guy that owned this place throughout the 70s, so this was used as his office, and this is actually the place Anton was describing to us before where he died. He had this heart attack that was,
Inatake.
it could have been a supernatural event where he was kind of attacked by an unseen force, as the onlookers had described, and they were trying to get through this door here. And apparently there was a few people trying to push in to help this guy who was screaming out in pain, but there was an invisible force holding the door closed so they couldn't get in. And Anton told me earlier that basically as the scream stopped, that force dropped away and allowed them to enter the room, but it was too late. So that's kind of a scary, interesting story about this room. And you said there's some paranormal activity that usually goes on in here. Are you able to describe some of that?
Way back when, a few years ago, there was actually a story where they said that one of the guards, back a few years ago, whenever they used to come here at night, they patrol the place, they would actually notice that there was actually a figure that was standing near the fireplace. There was like one story where the guard was like, he was checking out the place at night.
Ay, yung dream niyo.
And then he saw a man standing over here, clear as day, but in the pitch, like in the dark.
Yeah.
So he calls out to this guy and says, "Sir, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to, wear your clothes." But the guy didn't do anything, didn't react or anything. It wasn't only until like seconds later that the guard realized that he wasn't talking to a person, he was actually
Creepy talaga sa Diplomat.
talking to a ghost.
Oh my gosh.
And the thing was, the guard was kind of freaked out and basically
Yeah.
just bolted from the
Paborito ko talaga dito Diplomat eh. Paborito ko talaga to. Sa lahat ng haunted place sa Pilipinas, Diplomat number 1.
room and all the way downstairs.
Yeah, I do the same. Are the guards scared of this place? Like for the
At
ghosts?
night, they're supposed to do patrols at night, but not necessarily. Not all the time.
We're gonna check out this morgue
Ayan, ayan, ayan.
now. Actually, the morgue looks really creepy.
This is the only thing that survived the fire.
Oh, meron din pala dyan.
So this was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
What is this?
Those were bathrooms.
Big
Ah, dyan yung CR.
bauble in here. It's like a Christmas bauble. So these are bathrooms from the morgue area. Would the rest of it have extended this way,
Oh yeah.
kind of thing? Yeah, maybe
trying-
that's actually foundations of it over here
Yeah.
as well. So it's actually caught fire and burnt down in the 80s, and the hotel was a little bit damaged from it too. And Anton also told me earlier that this is a place that the ghost of a nun has been spotted by a couple of people just over by this tree behind Jared.
Hindi ko napapansin yan. Yan yung lugar na yan. Meron pa pala dyan sa Diplomat.
Alright guys, I'm super
Ayan, gabi na.
excited because we just made it back to the old Diplomat Hotel at night, and this place looks insanely spooky. We're about to head inside, and we're very, very lucky because we've been granted a special permission by the city to go in and investigate. So we're going to go in and just check out what it looks like in the dark. I can already tell it's going to be a scary one. Let's go inside.
Yun, oh, creepy. Oh, gabi na ta kasi.
Alright, so we're just walking into the main entrance lobby, and besides a few dogs barking like down the hill, it's pretty
Creepy, oh.
quiet in here. Very, very dark and spooky. I think that we should maybe reach out, and I might just introduce myself first. Hello, if there are any spirits around in this building, we don't mean you any harm. My name is Amy, this is Jared. You guys probably already know Anton. We're going to be here for the next few hours. So if you guys want to, if you would like to communicate or let us know that you are here, please feel free to do so.
Creepy talaga sa Diplomat, oh.
Okay guys, we've just ventured into a different area other than the lobby. I'm going to attempt a spirit box in here. This is one of the courtyards that features this water fountain, and as I mentioned earlier, this was a place where people were tortured, drowned, including babies. There's also been a lot of sightings of nuns, even captured in photographs just through these windows over here. So if you like this...
Wala ga. Para may apparition doon na naka...
Rolling cam. Check mic. Tara na. Madilim na kanto. Sumama ka. Biga nyo sa screen. Sabay sigaw. Kung mahina lobot mo, back out now. Hey! Door, crack, slow, pan-ilaw pula. Comment section bro. Huwag kang pumasok dyan. Ha! Sa likod may anino. Frame 1 to 2. Pause, zooming in. Nakita mo? Mamalon yung chat, puro lods naman. May kumalabog sa taas, walang kasama dyan. Huminga ng malalim, sige push pa rin. Kapag trending sulit, bawat kilig at kilabutan. Di ano reaction, multo edition. Sumigaw buong bahay, full transmission. Kung kinilabutan ka, click subscription. Rewind, rewind, para sa apparition. Big ano reaction. Big ano reaction. Multo edition. Slow-mo, zooming fan, 5-frame vision. Pag may dumaan sa likod at confirmation. Comment, ibig nakita ko, full conviction. Guys, pakinggan nyo to, sabay kahit sa headset. May boses na pabulong riot. Thermocam sa hole, malamig na spot. Kung may nandyan, pakigalaw ng upuan shot. Lights flick, jump cut, sabay tawa pilit. Okay pa ako guys, promise, legit. Pero puso rumaraga sa views.